We don't.
Sometimes we talk about what we're going to talk about before we talk about it, but most of the times we don't because this is Grog Talk. Welcome back. Steve McDonald here with Skip Murphy, Mike Rogers, and our guest host, Jim Lawrence. Coming up in about 20 minutes, John Zimmerak joins us again from Stream.org to talk about the really cool situation where the Gestapo go in and terrorize large companies who then back their agenda by boycotting states and things like that. So we'll get to that in a little bit, but we have some time to fill.
So today's the stream day.
Today's the stream day.
Stream telephone day.
Yes. The public relations people are sending me all these guests.
Yeah, I get them all the time, too. Actually, there's one person I want to try to get on is David French, who's now at National Review.
I tell you another organization we should go after because they send out lots of good newsletters. National Center for Policy Analysis, because you know who the president is now.
Colonel West.
Correct.
Yes. We've interviewed him before.
Yes, we have, but not on the phone like this. But at events, we caught him at 2 or 3 events.
Correct,
and he does a great interview.
Yeah.
But you said that word there, Steve, boycott, and there's this nasty phrase, boycott, divest, and sanction, which it usually means nasty liberals trying to take down regimes they don't like, which is always Israel and only Israel. But how about BDS at the states? Is it not time to boycott, divest, and sanction the lifeblood of Washington, D.C., folks?
Well, there's a blog post that says it very, very well, and I haven't posted it just yet because I'm getting distracted not only by other things at home, but helping to raise my new grandson. I get stuck with grandson duty, which means I have to hold him instead of the laptop. But it basically asks the question, and I will post it up as a sort of an after-show link today or tomorrow. Okay. Let's see. How come companies get to do all these kinds of things for right of conscience and like what's happening in North Carolina where the companies browbeat the governor into, everybody's now avoiding them. But how come religious faith people, Christians, can't do the same and boycott the people coming in and demanding services of them?
Actually,
why does one have
talk about?
How come one has a conscience, a corporate conscience? You love this. Corporations aren't citizens, but good for them for helping the left agenda, but individuals can't do the same. What's the dichotomy there?
Well, and we have already had the stereotypes. Was it actually in North Carolina too of the basketball team being rapists and
Duke?
Yeah,
lacrosse 10 years ago.
Being rapists and patriarchs and all the rest of it, and oppressing the others. Now we have the corporations, which happen to be sports corporations, basically pushing predators upon the unwilling populace by insisting on this transgender bathroom law.
Yes, or, I'm going to come real close to breaking my own rule number 1, but basically, as I said earlier with Steve before everybody else showed up, where is it in the Constitution that basically says that people with penises should have the full right to go into areas where people without are looking for a little bit of privacy? What happened to that whole idea of privacy found in the Constitution? And you go, what the heck here? And I mean, we've got a flame war going on Granite Rock for this exact topic right now between a couple of individuals. And I look at it this way: when growing up, not growing up, but as my small kids were growing up.
Holy cow! Kimberly's been comment.
Yeah. I know. Yeah,
I don't have the kind of time I need to read all those things. So.
I see. I have to because I have to moderate all the comments.
Yeah, I can just go on and keep writing things that make people comment.
Yes, but you really, when it comes down to it, what is constitutional? What isn't? What is, and maybe we can talk about this with John when he comes on. But really, we're seeing a transformation once again of. Excuse me. Here we have
anti-discrimination.
Thank you. Statutes overriding what used to be considered a premier constitutional right. How did we get to this situation except for,
Well, I mean, I'm not sure that the right to privacy in the bathroom is a constitutional right. It's more a long-standing societal tradition And let me say...
Well, I was thinking more of the religious conscious.
Oh, the religious conscience, yes. But it's a long-standing societal tradition, and let me say also in Islamic societies, that the ladies and the men shall be segregated, certainly in bathrooms and showers and such places. And yet the left, and to some extent no doubt their strange bedfellows, are absolutely committed to destroying those protections.
So what we should do is, before you pass any laws mandating transgendered bathrooms, you should pass one in Deerbornistan, and then we'll talk.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Once you get past that hurdle, you can have the rest of the country.
Yeah, let's see which of your parts gets chopped off first.
Okay? We just prove to us how great this idea is of yours. Go do it in Dearborn.
I want to see this happen in the mosques.
Yeah.
Let's push it one more step. I mean, I look at this and go, and I'm going to get the hate mail. I just know it. But let's go back to the civil rights.
You wait till I riff off of that.
Yeah, let's go back to the 1964 Civil Rights Act, which I think did a lot of good stuff. But the problem that it broke was the free association. And that basically made it a moot point. And, there's a story out of Harvard where Harvard University is going after all of the single-sex fraternities and social organizations. And one of the oldest ones at Harvard, and I forget its name right now, it's not even on campus. They own their own building. They're off campus. They have their own associations, male only. And now Harvard University is threatening to basically expel all the students.
Revoke its charter?
No, it's not even chartered by Harvard.
Oh, okay.
It's a totally separate unit, entity. But they're going to expel the Harvard students that live and go there because they say it's discriminatory against females for not allowing them in. Now, we went through this a few years ago when all of these institutions got destroyed. But they're bringing up the good point. The First Amendment, freedom of association. Where does this stuff stop? And people start paying attention. Look, if you're going to do this stuff, at least look to our foundational law in the Constitution and say, this is our quality standard. This is where everything should flow from instead of just making this stuff up. Because I think this is what's going on today in the political correctness world, and we can talk about it with John when he comes on, is to say, the left is making us less of individuals. It's sort of like Planned Parenthood dehumanizing unborn babies. They call it a fetus. They'll call it a zygote. They'll do everything they can except call it a baby. Mm-hmm. It is the whole idea of making it an unperson. And I think the left is doing that to us in the aggregate by saying, you're no longer individuals. You're just cogs in a machine.
Right.
So how do we stop that? Is that even a concern? Thoughts, gentlemen?
Yeah, I think so.
What were you going to say about my Deerbornistan thing?
Yeah, that's a good question.
That might save you because you're over there going, I wasn't really listening.
This is very unusual. We've caught him speapeachless.
I think it was the cake. It's definitely
No. You were on such a roll.
He's blushing as red as his shirt.
You were on a good roll there, Skip.
I'll jump in there. I mean, let's face facts. This country was founded on the principle of individual rights and freedoms. So any abridgment to that is actually an affront to the very reason why this country was formed in the first place.
Yep.
And we've proven time and time again that this country has thrived, has succeeded, because we empowered the greatest engine in human history. That is the innovative individual. The innovative individual who has the creativity and the ability. We unleashed that power on the rest of the world. We unleashed that power on the American economy. And we need to continue to cherish that and protect it. Because without it, we're going to lose the edge that we've used to create the America we know and love. It's just that simple.
So that's certainly at odds with the collectivism that we see nowadays.
Well, I don't believe in collectivism, so...
No, but that's what the left is trying to push upon us, because we keep hearing, at the last Democratic presidential convention, government is that thing that we all do together. It's like, okay, where's the
that we all belong to.
That we all belong to.
Well, if we belong to it, why isn't it listening to me?
No.
I like that. Good retort.
Because we belong to it and we're its possessions, a bit like Muslim women are possessions.
No.
Told you I'd go
slaves
non-PC.
are possessions. We're none of those right now.
I would say that the progressives do believe that we're no longer citizens, that we are subjects because we do belong to government. They didn't mean it as that, this is like a social club that we all do together. That's the other thing. Government is that thing that we all do together. No, I don't want to do it all together, but you're lumping me in and I don't have it, and you're not giving me a choice. As, what's his name? Started, he was at Red State. Eric Erickson said, "You will be made to care.
Right.
You don't have a choice."
But not only that, saying that government is something we all belong to is the exact opposite. Government belongs to us, and it damn well better do what we say, or we can shut it down.
Well, we've been talking about that all day. We haven't figured out a good way of doing it yet.
No.
That is the problem. I mean, I'm perfectly fine with the federal government shutting down, as I keep saying, to the horror of people like Kelly Ayotte and a bunch of other progressives and Republicans who are scared that their butts are going to be yanked out of their seats.
But
we got 50 more governments right behind that could pick this all up and should be doing more than what they're being allowed to by the feds.
Here's the one thing, and you'll notice that a socialist government always inflicts pain on the powerless first. Is they'll stop paying the military, they'll stop paying the veterans, they'll stop paying the old folks.
You took the words right out of my mouth.
Before they'll stop paying the bureaucrats. That is what's wrong with this thing, and especially when it's run by a socialist like Obama.
Being a veteran, I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, the one thing that would make me take pause with making a bold statement like that is that I do believe that we do have a fundamental need for the federal government to provide for our defense. And I think Mike is right on the money with this. The first thing that they would target would be our veterans.
They're already
our
doing
military.
it.
Well, they're doing it, but if you shut them down, they'd really do it. I mean, that would be the first one that they would push over the cliff.
Well, certainly with this administration, they would. I mean, we were talking about how bad. You were talking earlier about how bad the readiness is of the current military. And, we all know about the Washington Monument Syndrome, where just like in the last shutdown, Obama told the Interior Department, shut down everything that's in D.C. and keep it off limits. And people quote-unquote, broke into them anyways because it's our stuff, not the government's.
And that's the point. And, the less prepared the military is, let us not forget that there are tens of millions of very prepared veterans around this country, and let the government not provoke the right of revolution, or let it provoke that at its peril.
Yeah, I love Article 10 here in the New Hampshire Constitution. But anyways, you were starting to say, Jim, before we went off on yet another ADD tangent.
You have a clock on your computer.
I'm watching.
End of the segment.
Is he the clock watcher now?
I have to be. I have to control the whole
He's
program.
our minder.
Okay.
Showrunner.
But,
producer,
the whole idea of
co-host,
the individual rights.
Scheduler.
The voice of your conscience coming
over
over here.
But how do we keep that from being collectivized? I mean, isn't that really the problem today that we're seeing? That the individual is being put into a little box?
Write that down because we're going to come back and answer that in the final segment because it's a very important question. But you have to call John. Please do that. We can get him on the show. All right. We're going to be right back. We have another guest lined up, and Skip's going to call him.
Yes.
Because the segment's not that long. Start calling him.
Well, I got to run the camera still.
Darn it. We need more arms. That's what we need. All right. We'll be right back. This is Grok Talk. Stay tuned.
Rock.